Yep, my two A959Bs. One fully metal upgraded, apart from these track rod and things that you adjust. Left them off, gives the wheel a bit of flex, stops the wheels buckling and bending so easy, and the handling ain't no different by having them or not having them. So I've left them off, just keeping a bit of the weight off anywhere you can really, because you're always adding weight with an all metal upgrade. As you can see, this one's had a lot of wear and tear, and it was my first A959B, and yep, put it through its paces. Tyres are slick. I've got a new set coming. Took the wheelie bar off because I've given it a smaller motor, brushless, but I just put a tiny brushless motor setup in it, as this is more just like a show car now. You know, I spent a lot of money on it, doing it up, and as many of you know, it does drink the pocket. Yep, very expensive to do these cars up, small as they are. So yeah, just got a tiny little motor in there, brushless, and does the job. Small pinion, everything, so it's going to be nowhere near as fast as this beast, which is running on a 1/10 scale motor, 4,300 kV, 3S LiPo, 65 to 130C discharge, 2200 milliamps, a 60 amp ESC, which is pretty big, as you can see in the front there. The fan from the ESC, I've got it lying on its side in the middle, so I've cut the window out so the air goes direct to the fan. And the motor, I've just put a heat sink on because this setup does not get hot. This is just purely my track car, so it doesn't get hot. It's just high speeds. As you can see, I've got my wheelie bar, but this is more a drag style wheelie bar. It's completely solid, fixed to the car. You know, this thing does not wheelie. It just, wow, it's crazy. You just hear the tyres lighting up as it wheel spins them, fighting for grip. Because it's got so much grip with these tyres on. Spray a bit of WD-40 on, leave it overnight, maximum grip. Yeah, beast of a car. As you can see, I've got the different style shocks, which I love them. I mean, if you lift the car up to a good, like just say lift the rear up, you can see. And when it comes down, it only rises a little. So it sits at a very lovely ride height. Got all metal diffs, metal gearing, servo's got metal cogs all the way through. Everything's metal cogs all the way through. Metal drives, drive shaft, pinion, all metal. But the diff casing and diff box and all the housings is all still plastic chassis, as you can see. Everything's still plastic with a modded rear spoiler on the front, giving it some downforce. And then just little touches, like as you can see, I've used that little spare arm I had. I've just screwed it onto the two things it happened to fit. So I just drilled the holes a bit wider and put it on just for show. Doesn't really do much, but yeah. And of course I've used the suspension arms that I did originally order for my all blue one. Never ended up using them, took them off. So I've literally just took one end off, put some heat shrink on, heated it up. Oh, wait, doing this looking through the camera, sorry. And just literally pushed it in the hole. Rolled it a few times and it does its job. I will actually probably screw them in so I don't lose any, but yeah, does its job. And I say this one, it's not pushing that much power, so you know, with the thinner tyres and the thinner wheels, it rolls a lot easier and so forth. I did have the spacers on there, took them off. Too much wobble, too much play, knackers your bearings. Completely knackers the bearings. This will run quicker like this. So you see, I've got the gold box at the back and little touches of gold. And the front, I'm rolling with all silver. And then gold touches inside, black towers. Let's go with a bit of the black, and basically that's it really. Straightforward. I just like these colours. I like gold and I like the blue colours, and it works with the black. So I've kind of carried that over with this one. I will eventually get a proper nice wheelie bar sorted, but at the moment this is just doing the job. Simply just a bit of plastic. I cut the ends to fit. Just some screws, heat shrink on there so you don't scratch yourself on it. Bits of metal, twisted, bent, bolt through. Little wheel. As you can see, I had the old like style wheelie bar, like it scrapes off the floor if you wheelie rather than you scraping your spoiler. So I've just used that, and so it brings out my original wheelie bar, which was further in, which I'm now bringing it out and using a longer. I've basically gained another inch on my wheelie bar, and I've made it solid instead of having it suspension loaded. Because as you know, it's all good having it all there, but when you roll, problems. And basically I snapped the suspension on. It was just cartwheeling, wheelie bar to the front end, just cartwheeling over. First time I took it out, hit the gas pedal, first turn I made, and the power just threw the car, like just spun it and put it on its side, flipped it and done about 3 cartwheels and came back. Suspension was snapped. So yeah, the suspension that I had on there was this style, and it actually snapped the black bit out of there. Just completely snapped it out, so it wasn't strong enough. So I'm hoping this will do the job. I've had it out already, blasting it around, and you know, it just wheels like crazy, and the wheelie bar does its job. I had it lower first and hit the power, and it would just wheel spin too much because it didn't have any travel with the suspension to move and soak up the movement. So I raised the wheelie bar, and now it just drives perfect. I have raised the height on it so it don't come down so low. It actually would drop lower than that. But I've put the differential tiny little cogs. You get the small 4 little cogs. Inside here is like a dome shape, and obviously, you know, these little cogs are like little domes, half dome, like circles, whatever they are, cut in half. So literally I just stuck them in the ends, and it just fits that space lovely, and basically gives me the width of the little wheelie bar more. The suspension's a bit firmer now because it's been pushed down inside, and basically I've raised the ride height. Also on the rear I raised it even more. Once again, these arms are off the extension arms you get, the same as these ones. They're actually longer. These arms are actually longer than the arms that come on the suspension arms standard. They're pretty short, so I just simply screwed off the ends and swapped them over. Now they're a bit longer, which lifts the ride height just up a little bit more. So the rear doesn't sit down low like many would know that have this car. The rear tends to sit a little lower and be a little softer. It's actually sitting at the perfect height, and I get more travel height in the rear than I do in the front. If I lift it up completely high, you can see I've got more travel height. So I mean, look, that's pretty high clearance off the floor. As you see, it goes down, comes up and sits level. So you know, when the power's being put down, it's gonna dip down, but it's not gonna travel a lot. So I'm just gonna get a lot of top end speed, and of course if he's hitting any bumps and so forth, it's got travel. You know, these cars are just, well, they're just a whole lot of fun. Anyone that has them, I love working on them, love tweaking them, always doing something different to them. I've got some gyros coming, and then I'm going to get the bodywork sprayed on them and give them my own look. As you can see, I'm still running the standard bodies, and I have got another brand new one in case I decide to do another style of cutouts for, you know, as you can see, I've just done slightly try to make them look different bodywork. Maybe I'll keep one standard green and just leave it as it is, and who knows. But yeah, my A959Bs. But without a doubt, this has cost me a quarter of the price as what this has cost me to do up. The performance in this was great. This is twice as good, and I've spent, as I say, a quarter of the price, purely because on my second time around I knew exactly what I needed to do, and I only brought the parts I needed. Hence shock tower, suspensions, wheels, and of course brushless upgraded it, put a mod on the front, wheelie bar on the rear, and that's it, it's good to go. Plastic chassis, everything else still plastic, whereas all metal. And yeah, I've just got to mesh the gears in this a bit better, but this has completely been meshed in. It's been run high speeds, everything, so all the metal diffs and cogs and everything's all meshed. You can see it's just, that is just smooth. whereas this one's you can hear it clunky a bit. Yeah, I've got some work still to do on this one, but I am still tinkering with it. And this is the thing with all metal, if you're going to keep driving it, you're constantly tinkering with it. Whereas with this thing, I can take it out battery after battery and maybe touch up a few screws that might have worked their way loose, or now and again change a bearing, and you know, it's very minor work I'm doing to this because I've literally kept it as standard as possible, so it's very durable. Whereas that needs a lot more maintenance, metal to metal. When it bends, it stays bent. Whereas this, you know, it just keeps coming back and keeps going. So this is my favourite by far, but I love them both. You know, when I get my new set of rims, this will look as good as it can be. Oh, and inside my diffs on this one is still running the little plastic cogs. I have got a set coming ordered, so I can have all metal through this one as well. But yeah, this is by far way faster. Obviously bigger brushless motor and that, but even if I had the same motor in both, this one is just way faster. And as you can see, the A959 tyres make a big difference on these cars. I recommend these tyres to everybody. The only problem you have is if you keep rolling it, you'll just keep cracking the rims, and that's the only downside. Whereas with these, they will buckle the rims, but they'll last a lot longer. You know, you ain't gonna crack them like these, you know, a couple of rolls and you come back and your rim's cracked. What I always do is, if I crack my rims, I just get the super glue out, touch super glue over it, and just try and keep the strength there, stop it leaking air out the tyres, and just try and keep it as sturdy as you can. Just super glue it, keep on top of them, you'll be alright. Obviously I glued my holes on the inside of the wheels and drilled holes in the tyres for these, and these are foam filled, so they still have the hole in the wheels but the foam filled. On my new set I will be blocking the holes in the wheels and drilling holes in the tyres. But for now, that's my A959Bs. I'll show you what they drive like. Beast of a cars these are, beast. Birmingham GT RCs representing.